What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Samantha, and if you're here today, then you know we're discussing the James Clear book, Atomic Habits. This book has been out for quite some time, and I am just now getting around to it, and I wanted to do, initially I was going to go live, and then my nerves got the better of me, and so what we're doing now is just kind of going to be a quick book review, and so let's get right into it. The thing that I want to start off with is the book is not necessarily different than any other book that discusses habit or habit forming or breaking negative habits. However, I do like the very kind of clear way that James Clear talks about James Clear talks about these habits. It's not so inundated with the like psychological jargon that a lot of self-help and habit forming books use. And so that's one thing that I really liked about the book. So let's talk about the first thing that stood out to me early on was the thought looping. For me, that is the foundation of all issues that are derived about habits, whether good or bad, right? How you think determines how you behave, how you interact, how you show up in the world, right? And so if you're in a negative thought loop, then obviously you're going to struggle with behaviors that contribute to existing in that negative pattern, so to speak. So that was the first thing that kind of stood out for me in the book. The next thing that really spoke to me was the conversation, and I'm looking down at my notes, so just, know that. The next thing that spoke to me was the conversation of goals versus systems, right? Because goals are really results driven, and a lot of times you have that negative feedback if you don't reach a goal by a certain mark versus a system where you're able to put into place processes that will help you reach a certain place, right, an intended point goal. So I think that one of the things that I took right away from the book was more so than setting goals, which is something I do, right, is putting a real process in place, a system in place to help me to get to that goal. And I think a lot of times we do like a high view of what will help you get to a goal, and then the like kind of those daily habits, those small things, that 1% difference over time that would help you to get there and see that change. That's where, at least for me, I've noticed where I kind of lack in the planning and the development process for reaching my goals, right? So for instance, if you're on this channel, and you more likely than not came for my 140 by 40 weight loss goal. And I think initially when I started out, before I ever started on Wegovy, before I ever started on Saxenda, I really was just like, okay, 288 pounds is way too much. I gotta not be this heavy. And then what did I do? Like right away, of course, I'm lowering down my caloric intake, but not in a way that was sustainable at all, right? I wasn't meal prepping, and if I did meal prep, it wasn't food that I would be able to sustain in any way, right? At one point I was doing the meal delivery service Factor, and I was ordering the keto meals, which were very high in fat. I didn't have a real plan outside of the fact that I knew 288 pounds was too much. I had 2 years to get to 140. So if you just got here, you realize that I've just gotten really, really serious about reaching that goal. So I really had a very realistic time frame where I could have easily gotten into my goal weight of 140 pounds, but I didn't have any systems in place. And even now that I've read this book, one of the things that I'm really focusing on is putting clear systems in place, right? I have really just come down to the fact that, Samantha, you've got to cook, and you've got to cook consistently, and you've got to cook food that you like. It can't be the same type of meal every day, because that is when I experience burnout. So then it's about drilling down, right, even further. Yes, I got to cook, but what am I going to be cooking? Planning a menu for the week, not just for my lunches, because that's something that I kind of was meal prepping, and then dinner kind of was haphazard any kind of way. And then I was doing really good with dinner, and then lunches was haphazard in any kind of way. So I'm like, okay, Samantha, you don't really eat breakfast. You'll be fine there. I don't usually get hungry until around 11 o'clock anyway. I prefer intermittent fasting. So check. I'm intermittent fasting. I don't eat meals before 11. It's water, it's plain coffee, it's things like that. That's what my breakfast is going to consist of. If I wake up very hungry, I'll have a meal replacement shake. That's the system in place. nothing before 11. And at that time, meal replacement shakes, water, black coffee. That's the system. Now for lunch, I have to plan out each week, what am I going to eat? What snacks I'm going to have? What dinner am I going to have? Who's cooking the dinner? I live in a household, a communal living situation. So who's cooking that night? What are they cooking? Can I eat what they're cooking? And if I can't, what am I cooking to replace it? Systems have to be in place. That was really an important key for me. Okay, so then a little bit further along, James gets into implementation intentions. And I've never heard that phrase before, but I had when I first started the Wegovy. When I got the coupon, there was a sign up that they had for like coaching and things like that. And one of the things that they had was basically an implementation intention. I will do X and I will do X by Y and that kind of thing. So I was initially a little put off by it, if I'm honest, but I realized that having that very specific, right, idea of what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, where I'm doing it, that is really important. So for example, my Summer Sizzle, I'm doing the Summer Sizzle Extreme Hip Hop with Phil class, and I have been missing some, and not all just because I'm on my period, right? I've also been missing classes because I'm sore, I'm achy, whatever. But so now my implementation sentence for that is, I will do the Summer Sizzle workout every day. That's Monday through Friday at 6:30 in the living room downstairs. So that's the implementation. So I get up early enough now, consistent enough now. I'm awake. There's no reason, which leads me into habit stacking, right? I get up around 6 o'clock. I read my Bible. I pray. Those are things that I commonly do every day. That's my habit. And so now my habit will be, after I read my Bible, I'm putting on my tennis shoes and I'm going downstairs and I'm going to do that workout. My nephew wants to do the workouts with me, and so I'm waking him up. But here's the thing, whether he's down there at 6:30 or not, I am working out at 6:30, and that's the end of it, right? So it's about having those systems in place, being very clear, being very intentional. And I love the thought of habit stacking. It's not something I really thought about before. I have thought about like blocking things together, like in chunks of times. But habit stacking, building upon something that you're already doing, takes away some of that the monotony. It takes away some of the guesswork and the having to think about, well, when do I do this? Well, how will I do this? I'm already going to get up in the morning and pray. I'm already going to get up in the morning and read my Bible. I'm already going to do those things. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to wash my face. So all of those things that I know for certain I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to doing. And now I'm just adding this in as a part of that routine. And so I think that will really help. I will kind of circle back at the end of the week. So today is Sunday, obviously, and I'll circle back and let you know next Sunday how this week looked. And I do plan on filming my workout each day as an added layer of accountability. So what do I have to do to film, right? I have to make sure that I set up a light. I have to bring the camera down, which means the night before I have to charge the camera. So those are the things that we talk about when we say, setting yourself up for success. And so for the most part, those are the tools that I have found most useful in my life, the tools that have stood out for me. Leave in the comments down below what kinds of things, if you've read this book, that you found were able to be implemented into your life easily, what kind of things you found, like maybe even later on, things that you didn't think were important as you were reading or that didn't stand out, but that maybe now, a couple of months later, you were like, you know what? I need to circle back, and this is something that's been helpful. I'm Samantha, and this has been my book review on Atomic Habits by James Clear. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.